Hello, everyone. Gabby here.
And I'm Brenna.
And this episode is not at all funny. So
I'm crying real tears.
we're, go- we're just going to
I
wait
snap out of it. This is not we were laughing at that weird
at the beginning,
I
the
just did.
intro.
Okay, I'm in the zone.
Today's episode is continuing our missing and forgot, like lost, disappearing, murdered scientists series that we started last episode. And today we're going to focus on Melissa Casias because she's not a scientist. And you'll see her case is a little bit different from everything we've seen before.
Mhm.
So,
And I've heard nothing about Melissa, so we're both going into this
blind.
blind. Well, Gabby's not. We are.
I actually started researching this because I listened to the episode weeks ago on an airplane from Crime Junkie. And then I was like, wait, this sounds familiar. So I did get some info from Crime Junkie, the ones I was able to verify. I credit them, and I'm crediting them again because I listen to a lot of Crime Junkie when I'm on planes. So she is affiliated with the people missing from New Mexico, and they all worked at the laboratory there. Her name is Melissa Casias, and she went missing on Thursday, June 26th, 2025. She was 53 years old and she worked at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. And just because it will come up a few more times in the upcoming episodes about these scientists, Los Alamos National Laboratory is a research lab and it was established in 1943 and it was established to conduct the research for the Manhattan Project to develop atomic weapons. It's located in the desert of New Mexico on 40 square miles of DOE owned property, so Department of Energy.
Okay, I was about to say, what is DOE?
Yeah. And according to their website, their mission is to quote, address national security challenges by advancing breakthroughs in science and technology. They perform R&D, design, maintenance, and testing in support of the nuclear weapons stockpile. So this is a very serious lab.
I was gonna say this is sounding more like in our previous episode we discussed how the two how Michael David Hicks and Frank Maywald how their areas of work that they worked on doesn't exactly scream like
National
yes.
security,
Yeah, like
espionage.
there's more like weather and looking at, atmospheric blah 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 and patterns and stuff like that. It didn't scream get you killed over,
Yeah.
whereas this kinda is a little more hardcore, it
Yep.
seems.
They also perform theoretical and applied R&D in areas like physics, environmental science, energy, and health. So it's not all nuclear weapons and national security, though. They also do the environmental stuff that we saw earlier. And I bring this up because this episode is discussing missing scientists. However, Melissa Casias, she worked at LANL with her husband, and as far as I can see, both of them were not scientists. She
Okay.
worked as an administrative assistant at the lab, and I verify this by her actual LinkedIn account. You can go look it up.
Ooh,
So I
okay.
don't want it to seem like I'm saying that just because she was not a scientist, there can be a connection to the disappearing scientist, as the circumstances surrounding her disappearance are suspicious. But she probably didn't go missing for her work, you know?
Yeah, and, not to say that she didn't see something she wasn't supposed to see, or because if you
Exactly.
work in a
But
building where you have security clearance and stuff.
she did have security clearance, but it was low level, and you'll see later on in the episode why it got lowered because she probably had a higher one, and then due to circumstances, she
Okay.
lost some security clearance levels
And I didn't
because
even
they're
think to look
strict.
up people's LinkedIn accounts, Gab, so that
They're
kudo
on there. Every
kudo
scientist
well, I
has
was gonna
one.
say, duh, like, of course they're gonna be on
Like
there.
you could find mine if you looked
You
for
could
it.
find
If you knew
mine,
my real name.
and mine just says "Mystery of Everything" podcast host.
But we do know that she has some security clearance because one of the points of the day that she disappeared that really stood out is when she returned home because she forgot her badge, which she needed for
Yeah.
work. So let's get into the details of her disappearance. The following details come from an NBC News article written by Nicholas Vinuela, as it is the best breakdown of all of the details surrounding the day she disappeared. So on Thursday, June 26th, 2025, Melissa Casillas dropped her husband off at Los Alamos National Laboratory around 6:15 a.m., and that became the last time he saw her.
I did not know that her husband worked at Los Alamos.
Yep.
That's weird. We talked about Los Alamos in previous episodes, and I'm sure we will talk about it in future episodes on this as well.
So little did he know that later on that day, the events that would unfold would lead to his wife's mysterious disappearance. According to her husband, Mark, when she dropped him off, she agreed to bring the car back by 11 a.m. as he needed to use the car at the time to run to the bank. And she said she would have it back by then. This was something that the couple did regularly, and she usually had the car back on time to him. So
Yeah.
he didn't think anything weird of it. They just went about their day. Now, remember how I said earlier that LANL was massive, something like 40 square miles with multiple buildings and areas? Well, when Melissa left her husband that morning, she said that she was going to another area to do a work task. And Mark said that there was nothing strange or off about how she interacted with him that day. Everything seemed perfectly normal. However, after dropping him off, Melissa returned to their house instead of going to the other part of the compound for her job.
Mm.
She went home, which was over an hour away in Rancho de Taos. And we know that this happened because their daughter Sierra said that she woke up at 7:15 a.m. that morning, and about 15 minutes later she heard her mom arrive home. So Sarah said that when she asked why her mother was back home at that time, she said that it was because she had forgotten her badge and she needed that to enter LANL.
How old is Sierra? Do we
Sarah was
know?
graduating, I think, high school, so she was
Okay,
about
so
to start cosmetology
she's older.
school.
Okay.
So here's the problem with the badge explanation. Even though Sarah believed that her mother had forgotten her badge, Melissa's husband Mark knew that there was something wrong with the excuse that she gave because she drove him to work that morning, and the driver of the car always needed to show a badge to enter LANL. Like, you can't just enter, you have to show your badge. And when she dropped him off that morning, she showed her badge at security at the gate check, according to Mark. So Mark said no, she wouldn't go home for her badge. She used it to get in here. She already had her badge.
Yeah, so Melissa was lying.
Yeah, to her daughter at least, and it's a really
Yeah.
weird lie. Obviously, her daughter wouldn't think anything weird,
Yeah. That'd be
so
normal. I'm assuming she didn't want her teenage daughter to worry about whatever actually.
happened.
Yeah, that's
Strange.
odd.
So, Melissa told her daughter that she had decided to work from home or just call out for the day after she got home that morning. It's not clear as to which one. According to Sierra, everything with her mom was normal. She behaved like she normally did. They hugged goodbye, said, I love you, which were all normal things they did. And then Sierra left for work that morning.
Almost sounds like a I don't wanna say issue with a coworker. Me just making assumptions. Like I would feel like if she wanted to work from home that day, why didn't she want to be at work?
Yeah. But you'll see,
Mhm.
she didn't actually work from home that day either, and that'll come up too. So
Okay.
that's just the excuse that she's giving her daughter. So at that point, nothing you'll see later on that she's telling her daughter right now actually checks out.
Oh, this
So
is so weird.
that was not the last time that Sarah saw her mom though, because around 12:30 p.m., Melissa picked up a Subway sandwich for Sierra's lunch and she dropped it off at the cafe where Sierra works, which was in a business center in Taos. The thing is, you can actually see there is security footage of her entering, carrying the sandwich, and you can see her walking through and walking into the shopping center. You can see her park the car and everything, and then you see her leaving with the check that you'll see she'll give to her, like her daughter will give to her. Like you see her just going about her day like normal, nothing weird, nothing rushed. She's just running
And
errands.
this was at 12:30.
Yeah. So Sierra said her mom ran in and out because she was running errands, and she ended up giving her mom a check, which was her check, to
Mm.
cash or what takes to the bank for her, and then her mom left. So keep in mind the time. So this was at 12:30, and Melissa said she would have the car back to her husband by 11,
Yeah.
which she obviously didn't do because she was running errands at 12:30. So
This is so weird.
the entire time her husband Mark was waiting for the car, he didn't think anything weird of it because sometimes she got busy at work and he would have to get a ride from someone else. So Mark at this point was texting Melissa, but she wasn't answering him. So he texted Sierra around 1:30 p.m. and asked her if she was able to get in contact with her mom. And when she said yes, she saw her multiple times that day, he texted and said, "Can you text her and ask her if I need a ride or if she's going to come pick me up?" And Sierra said she just took the screenshot of that and she sent it to her mom, and it showed that her mom received and read it. So even though she didn't get a response to that, she just assumed that her mom ended up getting in contact with her dad. And she didn't think anything else of that. But then about 45 minutes after this, so that was at 1:30 p.m., that was the last known sighting of Melissa. And it was a really strange sighting. At around 2:18 p.m., someone that knew the family and they knew Melissa, they saw her walking eastbound on New Mexico 518 from the Talpa, New Mexico area toward Pot Creek. And according to Sergeant Braceda in Dateline, they're quoted as saying she is observed walking eastbound on New Mexico 518 and wearing the clothing that she was last reported wearing in the Taos Plaza, which was a light color shirt, jeans, and light tennis shoes. So this location was about 3 miles from her house, and it was captured on the security video from Kit Carson Electric Company. It's really weird that 45 minutes after like 1:30 p.m. when she read the text, she was walking around at 2:18 p.m. on the side of a highway.
Do we know where her car was found?
Yes, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So the location where she was seen walking was 3 miles from her house and it was captured. They have footage of it. But the thing
Okay.
is, no one knows why she was there or why she was on foot. And from the footage, it's hard to tell if she's distressed or scared or if just out for a walk on the side of the highway.
Well,
So,
clearly, I don't want to make assumptions, but like, if that's out of character for her, then I don't think she's just chilling. Like, you've got places to be and stuff that you're supposed to be doing. You're not just gonna be like, oh, let's take a leisurely walk on the side of the highway
yeah, that's weird.
3 miles from home.
But there are beliefs among Melissa's family members that after she was seen walking here, she may have gotten into a waiting vehicle. But as of right now, there's nothing solid to prove that. Nothing's come of those speculations. Meanwhile, her husband Mark realized something was wrong because he got a call from her boss saying that Melissa was a no call, no show for work. So she didn't call out. She didn't work from home. She just didn't
Do
communicate
anything.
with her work.
Yeah.
So he tried to contact his daughter, Sierra. And this time, when Sierra texted her mom to see what was going on, her text turned green. It didn't deliver.
That gave me cold chills. That made me sad.
Yeah. So Sarah left work to go home to go searching for her mom, and she saw that okay, her mom's car was at home and the front door was locked. The door was locked. Nothing was out of the ordinary. That is until she went into her house and she went into her mom's office and she saw her mom's car keys and work phone both on the kitchen table.
So she
Then,
left phones and everything and just walked 3
well,
miles.
then she found her mom's phone, like her personal phone, her purse, and her wallet all at home in her office. And the weird thing was her personal phone opened on the welcome screen. So like when you erase your phone or you buy a new phone, it's like the welcome,
She wiped
hello,
her phone, or
someone wiped her
someone
phone.
wiped
But
her
the thing is,
phone.
she would have had to do it herself, right? And then lock the front door and leave. But it says like her keys. So was it her car keys? And then she had a house
I would
key.
say you only needed to know the passcode to wipe a phone.
Well, yeah, but then the front door was locked. Remember? But her keys were in the house, so it would have to be like her car keys. And then she took a house key to lock the front door. That's really.
Or like so she left the keys in, opened the door, twisted the lock,
It depends on the lock.
shut the
Yeah,
door. Like my at my house, you could just
this
twist
one
it
can't. You have
and
to
close
like.
it. Yeah, so I guess it depends on the door.
Yeah.
'Cause the lock that I have, you can twist it and shut it, obviously, like, not the deadbolt or anything, but
I was watching Crime Junkie and that came up because there was like this whole contention with like Melissa's family and then the husband and you'll see we'll get into a little bit of that later, but I don't think it's super
I don't
relevant.
even know, like, I'm
Um
trying to make a
he changed
theory
the
in my head
locks
right now.
3 days after she went missing, but they were like, "Oh, that's so weird." But if potentially somebody had a key,
Yeah.
I would change the locks
See,
too.
that is kind of weird, but then at the same time, if you don't know the circumstances of what happened to your wife, then I would feel unsafe.
Yeah.
With the phone being wiped and like I'm trying to think in my mind right now, like the theory of the husband, do I like that theory? Like I'm trying to form theories in my head right now as to what makes sense and I'm not able to come up with anything.
I just think it's so strange because for her phone to be white and then the door locked and she left everything and then she's seen walking because you have to keep in mind at 12:30 p.m. she took the food to her daughter and then she must have gone home and then at 1:30 p.m. she read a text
Yeah. So
from
the phone
her
wasn't wiped
daughter
yet.
and then at 2:18 so a little over 45 minutes later she was seen walking 3 miles
And
from her
I was gonna say, you
house.
gotta take into consideration
So,
too, like, what is her walking
how
speed
quickly would you walk 3
that
miles? Like, I walk 2 miles with my dogs, casual, and that takes about 40 minutes. If she erased her phone, she would have had to erase her phone and then get all the way there. I mean, you could walk it, or you
she
could
could
walk 3
walk
miles
it,
in
but I feel
45
like
minutes, but
45 minute yeah, you can walk 3 miles in 45 minutes, for sure. But I'm saying that's not giving her much time to do much else,
yeah. So, you see
depending
is
on her walking speeds. Let's say it takes her 30 minutes to walk 3 miles, 'cause I'm not a very speedy, quick gal, and sometimes it takes me 30 minutes to do 2 miles on a treadmill.
yeah.
So, let's give or take 30. Let's say she's speed walking 3 miles, 30 minutes. That only gives her 15 minutes to do whatever else, like to wipe your phone and do all the things. And that's like a generous 15 minutes.
So, in addition to, all of her stuff and her phone being wiped, the check that Sarah had given to her mom to deposit was also with her things. So she definitely went back there, which
And she
shows
didn't go deposit a check or nothing like that. So we can assume
exactly.
she drove straight home.
So then at 5 p.m., Mark reported Melissa missing after he got dropped off at home. Initially, Mark and Sarah said that nothing seemed to be missing from the house, but according to Crime Junkie, because I couldn't find this anywhere else, according to Crime Junkie, they later found that Melissa's reading glasses, sunglasses, toothbrush, and a 90-day supply of her thyroid medication also seemed to be gone.
That's another scary thing too, is because someone who has thyroid problems, I have Graves' disease. My mom doesn't have a thyroid period, so she has to take Synthroid in order to survive. Someone who has thyroid problems, you're not just gonna, if you plan on surviving, you're not gonna leave without your medication.
Yeah. And so it obviously shows that everything seems very
Seems
purposeful,
and
deliberate. Like,
morbid. Like she knew
she left her keys, she
she
left
knew
her
she wasn't
phone,
coming back.
she took her medication. Like, if it was foul play, they wouldn't give a hoot about her medication, you know what I mean?
No.
That her reading glasses, her toothbrush, and her sunglasses, and her medication.
So that's what she did take?
Yes, that's what she took with her.
But she left her phone in there, yeah.
So it's more
So,
like she doesn't wanna be
it
found,
sounds
but she
like
wants to
she
survive.
wasn't planning on dying, or she wouldn't have taken her thyroid medication, but she also wasn't planning on being found or coming back.
Yeah. So Melissa's family then comes into town, and on June 28th, they organize a search for Melissa using a hunting app. Her family and 125 volunteers tried to cover the area where she was last seen. And then in the Crime Junkie podcast, they were talking about some tension where her husband wasn't invited into the search efforts because the family was not vibing with him.
Or, I mean, could have been making assumptions because, like I said it in the last episode, in the majority of true crime, your first suspect is the husband.
Well,
And even detectives will say, like, if you don't investigate the husband, then you're not doing your job
he was
correctly.
investigated too. There's a whole thing. So, 4 days after Melissa went missing, search dogs from Taos Search and Rescue scoured the area near New Mexico 518 where she was last seen. On July 2nd, several agencies searched about 100 acres, and then 3 days later, they searched 283 acres of Carson National Forest, including the rivers and streams on both sides of New Mexico 518. But even with all of these efforts, there was no signs of Melissa. Now, there are theories that Melissa Casias meant to disappear and that she left on purpose. But her family, especially her daughter Sierra, who she was really close to, they didn't believe that she would leave on her own. Her daughter especially says that she wouldn't leave without at least a note, especially since the family had a lake trip coming up the day after she disappeared that Melissa was looking forward to, according to Sierra. In addition, Melissa's mother was getting a knee replacement surgery, and she had plans to take care of her after the surgery with her sister. So they were both going to take care of their mom. And that was confirmed by her daughter, Jasmine. However, it was revealed that Melissa had a lot of debt, as well as being behind on tax payments, and all things that would potentially add a lot of stress to a person.
I still don't think that that would.
According to Crime Junkie, things were so bad that their wages were being garnished and their security clearances were affected and lowered to the point that Melissa actually had to switch buildings where she worked because she couldn't get into the place where she needed to be because of her debt. Now, if all that stress was not like, I don't know if it's enough for someone to run away. Her daughter, Sarah, remember I said she wanted to start cosmetology school? Melissa was trying to get a personal loan to
To
pay
help
for
her
the
do.
and she got denied. And then her husband,
I don't think she'd leave her daughter
there
without
was
a note.
tension between her and her husband where he, I guess, had went to buy something one day and all of his his savings was drained, his account was drained, and it was because she used it to pay their taxes and then they had no money. And so he decided to separate everything. And this is according to Crime Junkie. He decided to
Yeah.
separate everything. And she was just supposed to pay some small bills and he was going to pay the big bills. But then, even with doing that, allegedly things got much worse for finances.
But couldn't I don't know. Couldn't they just file bankruptcy? Bankruptcy is not as scary as people make it out to be. In my opinion, I feel like I don't know Melissa personally. I believe her if her daughter says she would have left her a note, then I think that she would have left her
Well,
a note.
there's a weird thing coming up, which I feel like if she were to have disappeared on purpose, she's probably trying to get in contact with her daughter. You'll
I'm gonna
see.
make a quick theory. And again, I don't know what else is coming up next. I have formed a theory in my mind, though I might change it by the end of the episode. But my theory is that she did not plan on leaving. Like this was, I don't think it was pre planned. I think that someone at some point made her leave and was like, hey, you have to leave. You can't tell your family, blah, blah, blah. But that's why she took her thyroid meds, but that's why she didn't take anything else. It's because I think she was maybe protecting her family because she couldn't tell them anything because she didn't want them to be in danger.
So,
I don't know though. Why would they want Melissa?
exactly. So she's been covered because her disappearance is being linked to the disappearing scientist, but she wasn't a scientist and she had a relatively low security clearance because of her bad finances.
Yeah,
So while it's unfortunate, I don't think it's related at all because it just doesn't make
it's
any
weird,
sense.
but yeah, like why?
She wouldn't have the clearance to know anything or the access to
I
get
don't
them
think
into
she would be
anywhere.
taken for her knowledge.
Also, her family have emphasized that she's not related to the scientists because, again, administrative assistant, they don't really want those linked. And I
Mm.
just don't think it is linked. So then the leading theories for her disappearance are that she left of her own accord. While her case is still being investigated for potential foul play, according to detectives, Melissa's mom told the Post that they believe that someone close to her killed her, though. But according to the Sun, her family doesn't believe that she just left. One big theory that her family has is that Mark is responsible, and there are competing accounts of what their marriage was like, especially in terms of debt. Crime Junkie has accounts that make it seem as though some people believe that Mark was actually the one responsible
Was
for
he
debt.
accounted for at work all day?
Yeah, and someone did drop him off. And the couple might have been on the brink of a separation due to finances because there was talk of her daughter going away to school and then she would go with her daughter
I
and
don't
then they
think
would
it
live
was Mark.
separately.
I might eat my words later, but
But a major point is financial stress. And they couldn't afford to send their daughter to cosmetology school. And 3 days after she left, Mark changed the locks on to the house. And he had boots in his house that were dirty next to dried blood that looked like they had been out in a muddy area. But the thing is, it's all speculation. Mark was at work and he didn't return home until later. There's no solid proof that he did anything to his wife. The police did investigate Mark
I was
and
gonna say if there was
they got a
dried blood, they
warrant.
would have swabbed that.
Yeah, they got a warrant to go into the home and check things when the boots were found. And even though the family might, they've implied Mark may be responsible, nothing has come of this except for the theories, more and more theories. And
Yeah.
guys, it's just irresponsible to speculate on people murdering their wives if there's nothing solidifying that fact. It can ruin lives. So, it's just,
And I don't I'm not getting the vibe that Mark did it. I don't know why, but it is still
it is.
confusing to me because I don't think like if Melissa was a scientist like Amy, like anti-gravity stuff, then I'd be like, "Whoa." But I don't know. So I
They
think
said
it's
she was in
someone
charge of refilling supplies. So it wasn't
yeah.
even just
I don't see her being taken or like forced to leave because of knowledge. And see, my thing is, let's say that she did see something she wasn't supposed to see, you wouldn't have allowed her to take her thyroid medication. Like let's say you were going to dispose of someone because they saw something they weren't supposed to see. You wouldn't have let them take their medication. But then again, why would someone want to take her for her knowledge if she not saying she wasn't an intelligent woman, but I'm saying as far as, like, the
Also, why was she walking alone if someone was taking her?
yeah, like, unless someone showed up at
She
gunpoint
would have
and was
had
like, "Meet
ample
me at this location," and then she could have ran or something,
yeah, you
I
could
don't
run to the
know,
cops, and you should have ample opportunity to leave some sort of note, because her
or
house was
something,
clean and, you know, it's it's giving, like, doesn't wanna be found type vibes.
or psychotic break.
Yeah, and so when I was listening to Crime Junkie, there was also Mark didn't tell anyone that they had a disagreement that morning, but then he was like, "Oh, they had a disagreement that morning," later on. So,
Also
maybe
think
they had
it's
a fight over finances, and then she was like, "You know what? I'm done."
maybe, but then I still don't think she would have left her daughter. And not that I know Melissa personally, I don't, but I just don't. I don't think she would have left her daughter. But also, I do kind of understand Mark not telling people that they had a disagreement that morning
Because
because
it's
you're the
always the
husband.
husband, yeah.
Yeah. And whether you actually did it or not,
Everyone's
like,
gonna say it's the husband.
yeah. So if you're like, well, right before she disappeared, we had this huge disagreement, then they're going to be like,
And then
so,
so the theory that someone could have helped her to disappear, especially since she erased her phone and her iCloud before going, and especially since she took her medication. That kinda shows that. So in the recent Crime Junkie episode update from 2 weeks ago, there was an update of a longtime friend of Melissa who went all the way to Sierra's work to give her a $50 graduation present with no card, and the woman also gave her her phone number. They drove, I think, from Colorado all the way to New Mexico to give her $50 with no card and her phone number.
so maybe mama's with lifelong friend.
And this interaction happened the August after Melissa went missing. The interesting thing is when this woman was questioned if she knew Sierra, she denied that she knew her. And it wasn't just Wendy who showed up that day. It was Wendy, her fiance, and then another man and woman in like were there too. And they all showed up to give her a $50 at her place of work,
That's really weird.
right?
Drove that far?
No
Yeah, that's
card,
weird.
nothing, just her phone number too. That's strange.
So that could have been like, "Hey, I don't want people to know that I'm giving you this phone number to call it, and your mom might be on
So
the other end or something." I don't know.
some theories are this woman helped Melissa disappear, and Melissa was trying to just get in contact with Sarah, just kind of like a clue, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I just don't wanna be found." Or, I don't know, what did they do something to Melissa? Why would they do something to Melissa? Because why would they deny that they even know her? You know what I'm saying?
People say a lot of dumb stuff too when they're scared also, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just investigations going on with Melissa, so maybe they panicked under I
So,
mean, people have invented to, like, to murdering people because they were scared and they just blurted stuff out.
while there's, like, a lot of speculation around this, I don't think it's linked to scientists. I don't I hope she didn't run into foul play. I really just hope this is one of those cases where 30 years from now, it's gonna pop
Yeah.
up and she's gonna just be chilling in
And that
Florida.
has happened recently. Like,
Yeah.
I literally seen something the other day where a mom went missing in a grocery store, and she had young kids at home,
Yep.
and I'm not like, this is not me saying anything bad about the mom. That's not the point of me bringing this up in the slightest, but she had young kids at home, like an 8-year-old or something like that, and one day she just went to the grocery store and was never seen again. And, of course, everyone assumed it was foul play or something bad. She popped up 30 something years later alive in a different state, and she just couldn't handle life anymore, so she dipped. And, I mean, that happens, you know? Like, I mean, it does happen, so that's not that far-fetched.
So, I don't know. I hope the best. I hope she shows up and it's not
Yeah.
like she was taken.
I hope foul play is not involved, but it is weird
It is
because
being investigated, but I know on one of the updates, the family hadn't heard from the cops in, like, ages because there's just they cannot find anything to go off of.
if she did live or leave on her own free will, then,
'Cause her iCloud was erased and her
yeah, she
phone was
clearly didn't
erased.
wanna be found, but also didn't have intentions on killing herself.
Would you erase your iCloud, though? Well, I guess you would have to, because then you could be
Yeah.
tracked.
Nowadays, you can track, like, anything and everything. So there's
Yeah,
no way she could have taken a phone
because you could
or a
link
car, because
you
you can
could
take your
yeah.
cars are tracked now too.
Oh, yeah, my car I can't even run away, I can just ping my car. Why can't I ping my car?
Literally, like, you gotta have a very old vehicle, and now they're putting stuff in our vehicles now where the new, I don't know, some kinda new vehicle now that it's like a shut off thing. So it scans your pupils, and if your pupils are dilated, then it won't let you drive, or it won't let you start your car because it's like, "Hey, you're not fit to drive. You can't, be on the roads right now," which I don't like that at all. We're not gonna get into all that, though.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.